Whoop, 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 whoop. Where am I? Where am I? Oh, there it is. Okay, hello. So yeah, I've been doing some stuff lately, which I can't really talk about yet, but I'm pumped to get back into some more state management, and I revitalized the ReactX project because in the context of AI, I think it's a really good approach to, like, generally it's a good approach to state management in complex web applications, I think, but also in the context of AI, because ReactX has this, like, actually quite a niche approach, which is to make reactivity completely transparent. It only has one single function called reactive. And what I thought we could do here is to actually do some coding. And we're actually going to re-implement the proxy because I've had a couple of rounds and oh no. I had the house for myself and I think the kids are back. Okay, let's see how far we get. Let's see. Let's grab this one. Maybe we can use this actually. Create proxy handler. Base proxy handler. Okay, let's see here. We're gonna keep some of this, but we're still gonna re-implement, because I can't remember why I did certain things, and then I used AI on it, and it just made a complete mess. So I really wanna clean this up. And then we have a new dev tool, and that dev tool, I've vibe coded that. But it made me realize a different approach to using the dev tool. You can actually use Vite to inject a dev tool. So we're going to do that. So we need to enhance this with more things. But I think, yeah, like, why do we even create a proxy for arrays? I don't understand why we do that. So I think we should just remove everything here and then implement it again. Let's see. So we're going to keep let's move the dev tool stuff at the top. Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna export a function called reactive, and this is gonna take a target, which is basically a class instance. I'm not actually sure if there's like a, I can just do object, I think. And what we need to do is yeah, I guess we should just return create. Yeah, create object proxy. Yeah, and the thing is that we need to keep track of where we are. So this is what the AI messed up, is that we want to know where we are in the path, so that when you actually look in the dev tool, you kind of see you're dotting into objects as opposed to like just getting the name of an object. It's really important in global state management that you have this sense of nesting, right? So this represents the path that we're on, but the question now becomes, in production, we don't want to track this. So what I like about the dev hooks is that we actually move. What I want to do is I don't want to have any dev code inside the proxy, but the proxy will just call the dev hooks, which then does all the dev logic. But the proxy has to do the path tracing, like where are we? But it doesn't need to do that in production. So we're kind of creating these paths all over. Let's just call it create proxy for now. Yeah, I'm really not sure how we can get away from that. Yeah, how can we get away? Like we can't check if we actually have any dev hooks. Yeah, maybe that's best. Okay, so we're gonna do dev hooks. Yeah, we can just use on method. And then what we should be able to do, undefined. Okay, let's try this first. So we have create proxy. So we have a target, which is an object. Well, that's the thing. We don't know what it is. So this will be unknown because we're going to use that. No, let's say it's an object. And then we're going to have a path. We might have a path. That's the thing, which is going to be a string array. Cool. And then what we're going to do is check if we already have, if the target already is a proxy. So we have this, where is it? The proxy cache. So if proxy, let's just write it out first, get target, let's call that existing proxy. So if we have an existing proxy, I'm going to return that existing proxy. And then if we don't have that existing proxy, we're going to create the proxy, and that will be a new proxy. We have the target. And I know I've done a few things here that we kind of have to revisit and retest and everything. Oh, we do actually have tests here. Does it have? Okay, this is nice. Yeah. Works with object entries. Yeah, and we can expand on that. Cool. So we have a new proxy, and then this would be base, what do we call it? Create base proxy. Is that a function? Oh, yeah, target, of course. And then, yeah, I wonder why we had array in there. Oh, of course, we have array in there. Because it's like when you use it from, when you use it from React, you don't want to be able to mutate it. Yeah, I haven't taken a stance on that. Should we prevent mutations? What if you have like an object? Yeah. What if you have... Well, now I have to really think. Yeah, maybe we should bring back the old code, because I worked a lot on that. It's just that its DevTool approach is bad. Like, it doesn't really have a separation of a DevTool and not a DevTool. Yeah, but it would be fun to go in and try to build this again. Like, get some proper ownership in it. Yeah, we could use the other code as like reference. But yeah, so if we find an object, we're just gonna make that observable, and that means that if you use that object, yeah, and I can't even remember, how do we track mutations per action? How do we do that? Oh, I don't have a clear mental idea on how we're gonna do this. Oh, this is the thing. Like, I haven't done this kind of work for 1.5 years. So I gotten like super rusty. Because in this method, like if you call a method, we can create like a action reference. Oh yeah, that's what we do. Oh yeah, I remember now. I think... No, how do we do this? Like, if I create an action reference and then like asynchronously I'm mutating some state, like that mutation have to know which action it relates to. And all of this was actually working in the previous code. How are we gonna approach this? Yeah, now I'm not sure. Oh. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. There's a lot of code in here. Yeah, maybe it would be easier to just use this code and then just ask Claude to refactor the dev tool to use these events instead. It has everything. Oh yeah, recursively create proxies for nested objects. But we have these like specific proxies for the dev tools, so it's... Yeah, for me it's just how to organize the code. Create object mutation proxy. Reactive observer. Where are we gonna do this? Create effects proxy. Create action proxy. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. How the hell are we gonna do this? And what about this one? Is this only used by the... This is used by both, right? Create object mutation proxy. Or is this only used by the DevTools proxy? Create object mutation proxy. What the hell? Wait, we have two of them? Wait, now I'm confused. 135? What's this 135? Oh, that's weird. Okay, so we use it there, 495. Which is an action proxy. And array DevTools proxy. What about the action proxy? Where do we use that? Okay, so yeah. So I'm curious if it should just be two completely different implementations. Yeah, maybe that is better. Like we just copy this code and then we're gonna do we're just gonna have two different implementations, like a tracked proxy and then like the production, or proxy dev and then proxy. And proxy just doesn't have all the dev stuff. And I think it should be, but the thing is it's so intertwined. That's the problem. But create array proxy, and then we have create proxy. Where's create proxy? And this takes create array. Okay, create object proxy. Where's create object proxy? Yeah, and this just passes the observer. Ah, for fuck's sake. Yeah, and like here we don't need to, but I don't want to, I want them to work the same. This is super, super tricky. I want it to have, maybe it needs like 3 levels. You have like the base proxy that has like hooks, which is like, I did this now. And then those hooks can then choose to call into the DevTools, so that so instead of observer, we would have like an event emitter type of thing, just a generic one, which is more, yeah, but you need a path and everything. Fuck. Yeah, it has to be 2 different implementations. It has to be 2 different implementations. But there's so much in here. Just look at all of this stuff. It would feel so weird to like put those into like utility functions. Create proxy. Yeah, how the hell are we gonna do this? So maybe we, for fuck's sake. Yeah, so I don't want to track the path. Like that just changes everything. I don't want to track the path in production. That makes absolutely no sense. So that means there's 2 different create object proxy. There's one for production, one for development. But it has so much implementation that they can so easily diverge. So it's like it's this weird case where the function parameters is the thing that defines if it's production or not. But the implementation is the same. But we can, of course, make this optional, so it's not always there. Yeah, it's almost like... Okay, but is it really just the path? Okay, we're gonna copy this, and then we're gonna try. Yeah, we need the events as well. So this would be really dev. Oops. Events. We'll take a look at this later. We don't need ensure. Okay, so path. And what is this reactive observer? Yes, we're not going to use that. What we're going to use instead is the dev tool hook. Where is it? Oh, proxy. Where are you? There you are. Okay, so we're going to use this to determine if we have dev tools or not. So we need like to translate all the events into these methods. So we can do that later. But for now, we don't need to pass any observer because we kind of globally have the dev tool available or not. So now we can make the path optional. There's no observer. That's optional. Why are we... Proxy target. Okay, I guess that's fine. Cannot mutate read-only array. That's fine. But why do we have an empty path there? Because this should be... Oh. Yeah, okay, cool. So if we have a path key, I think, or we'll just do undefined. Yeah, and I guess we can do... This is the thing I'm looking for. We can do this. So if we have a path, let's concatenate it. Or we won't do anything. And then we have all this stuff. Yeah, this one's worse. So we don't need this. Where's this reactive observer from? Yeah, we can remove that. Where are you, reactive observer? Let's remove that. Okay, so this one's much worse. So these options are really coming from the actions. But it's intertwined with kind of the... Yeah, but I guess that can also be... So if we do path here as well, and then we call this execution, which is also optional. And then yeah, we need to look at the action proxy. Yeah, so this is the thing. Like if we have, okay, so this is interesting. So if we have a path, if path and execution, we don't, and we pass execution. So if we do this instead, so we basically have in dev mode, these will be populated. That's the difference. Yeah, that can work. And then we only do, yeah, we should do this instead. So well, what does the action proxy actually do? Does it only handle, wait, if result instance of promise? Yeah, this only handles like dev tooling stuff. There's nothing here that, yeah, okay. So if we have these two, we're gonna return, or we're gonna return reflect get target key. We're just gonna return it if we're not in dev mode. And then we have is custom, and then create a, yeah, and this is gonna be called service proxy. And what does it actually do? I think it does something similar. Yeah, this just tracks. Yeah, exactly. It just tracks it. I think. Finally. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just tracks it. So we are going to do path. Yeah, yeah, sorry. So again, oh, come on. If path and execution. Or we're just gonna return again, reflect get target key. Yeah. And then it goes and checks stuff. Okay, this is interesting again. Create array. What's so special about this one? Let's move path. What is this thing? Oh, is this to... Why is this its own thing? Handle mutating array methods. Oh, is it to give it... Okay, let's just keep it. But do we ever call create array proxy? Oh, we only call it here. And this is also weird, like create proxy. Yeah, we don't need this one. This would be optional. No observer, no observer. Create array proxy. Okay, so I think again we're gonna do if path and execution. We're gonna return path execution, or we're gonna return create array proxy, which would be result. Yeah. Because are we caching the... Yeah, we're caching the result. Yeah, so if it already was an array, yeah, and create array. No, that doesn't actually put it into the... No, that creates a new one. We can't do that. Where were we? Create array dev. So this would be create proxy. But this doesn't... Oh, this is interesting. So that one would be a new one every time. Yeah, which I guess is fine. Yeah, okay. This is gonna be... Shouldn't this include the key? Where do we add the key? I'm confused. Why are we only passing in? Does this take a key? No, it just takes the path. And why does it check proxy target? What's proxy target? Create object mutation proxy. And this is where, okay, I think this is also an issue. So this is also a difference. I think we create a new proxy in dev. We always create a new proxy. Well, we don't want to do that in production. So yeah, I think this is, but why does it create a new one? I think it's the same. Or we do return proxy result here as well. So if it already exists, we just return it. Yeah, and I don't understand why we check the proxy target here. It should just be path. Path. And then execution, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, we I have no idea what I'm doing here. Yeah, and then we have pending mutations. Oh my god. Pending mutations. What's that used for? Yeah, that's used for, oh my god. So this is definitely part of the debugging. Yeah, and then we have execution ID. Okay, we can look at that later. Execution. Oh, there's no execution. Oh yeah. So this can also have execution. What was the Oh, let's give this a type. Yeah, we also have operator ID. That's not a concept we should have anymore. Ja. Jeg vet ikke. De spiser sikkert der. Men han har ikke fått noe av meg. Okay. Okay. Let's just export it here for now. You know, we should put path inside execution. It's kind of weird to have, like, everything has, all execution happens on the path. Yeah, I think. Yeah, let's try that. Let's go through this again. So we're gonna have, okay, so we might have an execution here. And that execution, let's return execution instead. Oh yeah, and then this becomes a little bit more tricky because we want to add the key. Well, I'm not sure if we should add the key there. So let's see, execution. Again, execution. Yeah, maybe this will be much nicer. So we're gonna have execution. So we only check execution. Yeah, and then we only pass through execution. Yeah, and I think parent execution, operator ID. Yeah, I think we do have a concept of parent execution, but it might not be there. Parent execution ID. Yeah, so all execution happens on the path with a related execution ID, maybe a parent execution ID, then there's an action ID, and there's an action name. Maybe. Let's see. So if we have execution, we want to create an action proxy. And I'm not sure why we're passing in key here. I guess it's because we want to know the key on the actual event. Let's see. And then we have, yeah, again, okay, so I think we should just pass in the key here. And then inside the service proxy, we're gonna do key string. This will be execution. And this will be, I guess, parent key. Yeah, we can look at that one later. Again, execution. Don't need the path. Create array DevTools proxy. Don't need the path. This will be execution. And again, we have execution, not passing path. Cool. So I think one thing here is that we constantly like call create proxy, even though we might already know that that the result is a proxy target. Well, I guess we don't know, so we have to call something anyways. Yeah, we can try this. So if execution, we have execution of path. What? Oh, excuse me. And then, yeah, this is gonna be, yeah, whatever. And then this is going to be execution. Let's return execution here instead. Okay, so here we have an interesting case of observed keys. Why do we have observed keys? Is this used for anything else? Oh my god. Why do we track what we observe? And why do we create a new proxy? Like, check if we need to create a new proxy. This is just to prevent calling these things? Is it not? Is it an optimization? Yeah, we don't need that ensure thing. Okay, let's leave this for now, but that means if we have execution... Nei, det får vel ikke det.
Vær så snill på det 1 minutt.
Nei.
Hva da? Men kan du være så snill gjøre det på
Nei, det får ikke
1 minutt?
Nei.
Hvorfor det?
Fordi dere kan game en annen. Hei! Ikke slå meg. Nei.
Vær snill. Kjære, ikke slå.
Jeg sa at de kunne game litt mens de spiste litt. Jeg er litt usikker på om jeg skal gi dem en pause nå, så blir det liksom... Jeg har ikke planlagt noe spesielt.
Create action prox. Fucking kids. Yeah, I'm gonna drop off. This is gonna take some time, I think. But yeah, I think we have a good approach. We have to keep the logic together. Only that we basically check if we have this execution. Maybe we can call it something else. Maybe we can call it dev context or something. Maybe that's better. Rename. Dev context. Yeah, let's call it dev context. Rename dev context. active options. Okay, I guess this is a problem. Or is it? Oh. No, I think this is fine. Like nothing can change without an action. Yeah, so actions creates dev context. So when we create the initial proxy here, there is no... Oh, how is this gonna work? So as I'm accessing... Wait, this doesn't work. How does this work? If I create an I can't remember how this works. So if I create an object, oh yeah, exactly. That's why we create a new object proxy in dev. Yeah, exactly. Because we need the dev context. So like we're like spinning through proxies like crazy during dev, but that's fine. It's dev. So we were down there. Okay. Okay, so again, when we're down here, we're on the object proxy, right? Yeah, the object proxy, and it finds an action. Again, let's just look at the action proxy. It only produces... Yeah, this is only related to... This is where it really just sets up everything. Yeah, cool. Where was it? On event, to find property. Yeah, so again, if dev context...
Ser du snakker med vennene? Og det er pappa og det, pappa. Ser du som snakker med vennene? Pappa, kan du hjelpe oss å ta inn i batterien på fjernkontrollen?
Ja, det kan hjelpe dere med. Ja. Just 2 seconds. Okay, let's see here. Boxed value. Here we have the boxed value. Yeah, and here we put the key again. I think we're missing the keys somewhere. DevCon. If dev context. Yeah, I don't know. Is it possible to clean this up? I guess you can do that if we say dev context. Yeah, I don't know. Property tracked. Yeah, I wonder what all this is. Why do we... Oh, this is to keep the dev tools up to date. Oh, that's another thing. AI messes this up. It's too complex for it to understand what I'm trying to do. So that's why I'm handcrafting it. And it's also, if it becomes an actual thing, I need to own it 100%. But yeah, like AI doesn't have much training data on wrapping MobX with custom proxies and tracking execution and building dev tools on top of that. And also, I can't quite remember how this was supposed to work, so I have to read through the code to understand it. Ja, hva er det jeg spiller da? So yeah, so this implementation of the dev tool, what I haven't considered here is that now, oh no, does this make any sense? No, I think it needs to work like this still. So anyways, this is during dev, this is how it tracks changes to state. I'm not sure why we call it like property tracked. Yeah, that's weird. Execution, sorry, dev context. And then again, we have dev context path, dev context path, concat key. Or dev context. I guess we could say undefined there, but yeah, whatever. Okay, so we're gonna fix these shortly. Yeah, and this always has execution. So this will be execution.path. Yeah, this is a little bit inconsistent that we pass key here, but we don't do that on the other ones. I think we should fix that. No, because we needed the key. Wasn't that a thing? Yeah, because the name is the key. Okay, let's just keep this. And then execution. Parent execution ID. Oh. Okay, let's just do parent execution ID. So this is path. Yeah. Yeah, we don't have operator IDs anymore. Execution start. Observer, on event. This would also be dev context. Okay, we're getting to the end of it. Okay, so what do we actually need here? We need on mutation So we're gonna start by okay, we can clean up this stuff later. So we're not gonna have type dev hooks. So that will be on mutation. Yeah, let's just go through it. Yeah, this is kind of silly, is that we have to have this object for V to plug into it. But that means each of these can be null. So I guess we have to do this instead. Null or the fudge. I'm going to use AI for the actual dev tool though. It's just how we track changes and everything. Like the actual engine for the dev tool. I need to code myself. Okay, so we have on mutation, which is null. So what does so that would be, I guess we can say dev context and dev hooks. Oops, on mutation. So we're gonna do dev hooks on mutation. We don't need this. We don't need this. So yeah, I guess we can grab it from here. Let's see, mutation. Property mutation data. Interesting. Yeah, let's just bring in that stuff. Data, property mutation data. So that will be dev context, dev context, dev context path. Nice. Execution ID, execution path. Yeah, we can rename things later. So I kind of want to see if it runs, but to do that we need, let's see. So we have uncomputed. Let's add that. So that would be uncomputed null or data. What was that? Computed. Boop 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 boop. That would be dev context.path. Yeah, I'm a little bit unsure what this is. Why do we property tracked? I think this is just if it if Why do we do this? Oh, I remember now. Path value. Oh, yeah. Of course. This is just this is tracking the actual overall state. And then when you do a mutation, that's just a mutation record. So that means this is more like on state change. Yeah, I remember now. On state change, null data. What was this? Property tracked data. Such weird naming. No, probably made sense at some point. Oh, cool. So this will be, yeah. So oh, does it understand this? Dev context and dev hooks on state change. I think this will become undefined again. Yeah, it's just because this is inside a callback. I'm not sure why dev context works. That should also potentially be undefined here, which is weird. Or maybe not. Cool path value. And then we have on event instance method. So this is part of, okay. So this is more like service call. On mutation, on computed, on stage, on service. Yeah, on service call. Yeah, I guess we can call it that. So this would be instance method data. Cool. We're getting closer. So this would be, I wonder what that parent key is for. So this would be dev hooks on service call. I know we have it, so yeah, I'm actually not sure what that parent key is. Okay, so now we have action start, execution start. Action ID, action name. What's the difference here? I think this execution thing is something we only used for because this was based on Overmind DevTools, and it has a concept of execution because it has operators. But we don't have that anymore here. We just have actions. So I think we can drop execution, and then we rather give a name. The only thing to execute anything is through an action. So we're gonna have action ID. Yeah, but isn't that... No, execution ID is of course like a new... Yeah, an action ID. Wait. Does action ID matter? We don't need action ID. We just need execution ID. Yeah. But this is optional. We don't know if we have... Oh, this is interesting. Ah, we can have a path without... Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, we can have a path without an existing dev context. Ugh. Because this is where it all starts. It all starts with an action. And that action doesn't have a dev context yet. What should we call this? It isn't dev context. It is execution. You know what? We're gonna call it action context, because that's what it is now. We're gonna call it action context. We're gonna rename to ID, parent ID, parent ID, rename action context. We don't need action ID. We can call it name. Yeah, it has a path and it has a name. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay. Now this makes a lot more sense. A lot more sense, actually. This is great. Rename. Yeah, I guess we can do it. Dev context. Action context. Did it work? Yeah, so this needs to have the path. Oh, this is interesting. So how... Ah, for frick's sake. Ah, we can't check on action context. We have to check if... I did another mistake. So the path, like the path can't be tied to an action context because you need a path to for the initial action context. So we have to track path. For fuck's sake. Okay, so that needs... Okay, so these are different things. Okay, so we're gonna base the reactive path is now a string. So we're gonna base the path on having a dev tool available or not. So that would be dev hooks. Yeah, it doesn't matter what we check, really. I just don't like that we make all these checks. I really don't like it. Could we argue that the path should just be there? It could be nice for error reporting, but I don't think it really matters. Dag nugget, dag nugget, dag nugget. Like, I don't even know how it actually injects. Where does it actually do this? Where does it inject the dev? Like, is it... How does it work? Oh, Vite plugin. Yeah, ReactX DevTools. How does it work? Oh, it just imports the thing. But how does it then change the DevTools store? Drain? Q. Well, I guess this is something we need. Yeah, I don't understand how this works. But how does it register the hooks? I have no idea how this works. Store. Register. New DevTools store. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Dev hooks. Where's it? Oh, there it is. Okay, so it's inside the store. That's the thing. Okay, we can look at that later. This is getting quite messy. Reactive. Should I track the array or should I not track the array? Well, I guess we can make it. Yeah. I just don't like having the check even. Yeah, I'm probably being overly... Well, I guess for this one it will just be... Yeah, and I don't like that we only use this for the initial path. This just feels so weird. Like I have path here, and then I have action context, which also has path, and this path is used for the initial action context. So it's like either you have the path or you have the action context.
Christian,
Ja.
kan du hjelpe at det blir 2 player på Minecraft?
Dere må lære dere det sjøl, gutta.
Ja, men Oskar, han har lært av det, men nå klarer han ikke det.
Hvordan er det du trykker? Hva er det du trykker på, Oskar? Nå spiller du med din egen. Men du må trykke på den andre kontrollen. Den lille knappen med de 3 prikkene. Så trykker du en gang til, og så velger du... Så starter vi på nytt. Jeg tror ikke du har helt kontroll på hvem du er. So it makes sense. This will make sense if we always track the path. But there's no reason to track the path in production. Oh. Yeah, maybe we should call it current path. Yeah, we should call it current path. Because that's the difference. Yeah. That's the difference. So all of these, they have a current path. And optionally an action context. And if they have an action context, they have a path. How does that work? Does TypeScript understand this? So if I do if action context, does it say that current path? No, that can still be undefined, but it can't. That kind of sucks. So it's more that we have a dev context which always has a path. We always have a dev context. Oh, this is interesting. And we could also check. Yeah, you know what? Let's just do it. So we have dev hooks. We just do this. And then we do, oh, this is gonna be nice. Yes, I like this. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay, so these are the dev hooks, and this is where it just kind of accesses them. But what we can do now is we can just check. Where's reactive? So if we have anything on dev hooks, and here we can object our keys, dev hooks, dot length. Then we're going to pass in hooks, which is going to be dev hooks, and then path. It's going to be this, and then we don't have an action yet. And this is only defined once. So what we can do now is define a dev context, which will be path, string, dev hooks will be dev hooks, and then action would be what did we call it? Action context. Hva skjer, Oskar? Fordi Å ja, blir du ikke enig? Okay, and then we have an optional dev context here. That optional dev context we might have a dev context for that target. This is nice. And then we pass that along. Create proxy. This would be dev context. Oh, was it dev context on the other one? Yeah. Oh, I have to eat something. I haven't eaten since breakfast. Now we don't have to check this. We know that we have it. And this is interesting. So we have a dev context, but we might not have an action. Which really means that it's yeah, so if we don't have an action here, no dev context action occur outside of an action. That should not be possible. Yeah, and the cool thing here is that now we can just pass in the action, right? On mutation. So this will be action context. Yes. So So this is the action that performs the mutation. Yeah, this is going to be great. This is going to be fantastic. So let's just do this correctly. So this will be mutation payload or mutation params. Yeah, great stuff. But I think I need to eat. I'm on mutation. So this will be, yeah, so this will be the dev context path. This is the current path, right? Well, the action has a different path, right? Yeah. Dev context. Dev context hooks uncomputed. Yeah, this is starting to make sense to me. And this is just dev context again. We don't need that check anymore. We can do Oh, this is interesting though. We need to capture the state path immediately, because that could change that reference. But we have dev context hooks on state change. Cool. It's called, yeah, this is dev context. Yeah, this needs to be called as dev context. Oh, or as dev hooks. That's better. And then this takes the dev context. Dev context hooks on service call. Yeah, we need to clean up those things. I'm getting tired of this. Context. Yeah, I think I'm gonna commit this on a branch and then I can continue on my laptop. Oh, this is dev context. Yeah, this always gets a dev context. Yeah, so this was the thing where like it might have, like it doesn't necessarily have an action context. But here it has to have one. And if it doesn't have one, that's an error. like it can't really happen. Maybe we should just do an override. I think that's better. Wait, what? Oh, action should be, oh. Action context. Yeah, but we should rather pass in the action here. Yeah, maybe it doesn't need, maybe it just needs action ID actually. Yeah, this is just a reference. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, it is on GitHub, but it's not updated. It's just a proof of concept currently. Let's see. Create action proxy. This will be hooks on action start. So we're gonna move. Let's see. Yeah, so action start should be, yeah, we can look at those later. Let's do one thing at a time here. Oh, that will be dev context hooks on action end. And then we have dev context hooks on action, and this stuff is gonna be so much more fun when I have this running. Dev context hooks on action end. I'm not sure why I'm tracking duration there. It's kind of weird. Yeah, so this is now dev context. Hooks on mutation. Also not sure why there's multiple mutations. We should change that as well. Okay, we're getting super duper close now. Getting super duper close. Let's look at these things. So we're gonna have so we can have action ID. That should be enough. Because that's what we're sticking the mutation to. And then mutation is not an array. I think the reason this is an array is because of when it's like external. I was using Electron, so I had to batch sending mutations. Yeah, let's just call it mutation. And then we can say path. And then the operation. Yeah, I'm not sure we actually need, we can just do string here. Operation, okay, let's call it operation. Cool, and then we have tracked data. What was that? That was state change. Rename state change params. So we have a path and we have a value, and we need to know what action this belongs to. And then we have computed params. So we have a path, should have an action ID. Dependencies. Yeah, and that's not for this. So this is just when something gets computed. And then, yeah, we can see the number of times it's been evaluated. That's kind of cool. That will be action start params. This will be action ID. We need the path. Yes. And then parent action ID, which is a string. So an action might have a parent action. Then we have action end params. We have an action ID. Yeah. And then, yeah, duration or maybe an error. So we don't need execution data. So this is really action params. Well, no, instance method. That was the service thing on service call. Yeah. Service call params, method name, method. Okay, I guess we can say path, args, the result. Yeah, and then which action ID was responsible for calling it. Yes, and then we don't have any features. Delimiter is hard-coded. We don't need actions. We just need the initial state, if we even need that. I think this actually builds up as we access it, because we can't do a JSON. No, we need to build up the state as we're accessing it. So there is no init data. There is no events. Let's rename this to types. Yeah. And I'm gonna ask Claude to actually refactor the proxy so that it yeah, action ID. Yeah, so now we can actually mutation. This will be path. Okay, we're getting there. Let's see. So there's no dependencies. Oh, interesting. Computed. Yeah, computed is not related to an action. I forgot. That's just updating the value in the state tree overview. So on state change. So this is. Oh yeah, this doesn't have an action ID either. That's just updating the state tree. And then we have path, action ID, devhooks, on action start, data action start params, void on action end, data action end params, void. So this would be, let's call it action. Yeah, so this is, we're going to use action ID, no execution ID. action ID. Oh, I have act. That's so when we create action proxy, we use the dev context path. Then it has a name, right? Oh, does it only have a path? So that will be dev context action ID. That will be the parent action ID. But doesn't it have a name? Action start. Oh, we should have a name for it. Action name, action name. Nice. And then on action end, we have action ID, action ID, action ID. Look at that. Yes, so this would be action ID. You can't change without. Doesn't it have a path? Oh, it doesn't have a. Oh, this is on mutation. So it's mutation. None of that stuff. Here it has the path. Cool. This is great. Look at that. It's running green. Okay, so I'm gonna run dev. Does it even build now? No, it doesn't build. Yeah, let's just delete this for now. And we're gonna actually, does it build now? No, it didn't build reactive. Oh, what's this? Oh, this is where reactive is. Oh. Where's reactive? Okay. Yes, let's move some of these types. This is not a thing anymore. Let's move these into the types of the dev tool. Let's export them. Oh, come on. Dev context. What did I do? Reactive. Cool. I should import that as type, I think, so we don't accidentally import the dev hooks or the dev tools in production. Dev tools equals reactive. Yeah, I'm not sure why this is necessary. So what I want to do now is I actually just want to I want to do this true, and then we're just gonna oh, satisfies devhooks. Can I do this? Yeah, look at that. And we're basically just gonna console log. Yeah. Is that all? On action start. We have on service call. On state change. Cool. Now it should run. No. Oh, of course. There we go. Nice. It builds. And if we run it. Oh, I think I'm getting. Okay, let's just verify this and then that we got it like somewhat running. Smallbix. Oh, interesting. Well, we got the count. Wonder what these are. Mutation occurred outside of an action. But then we... Oh, sorry, that's mine. Path, value 1, action ID. Oh, yeah, synthetic event. Parent action, path increment. Yeah, this is fantastic. We are ready to actually do something. Yeah, but we'll figure this one out. I don't think I'm actually attaching the action to the dev context. Create action proxy. So this needs to be action ID. We don't need a name here. We don't actually need... Oh, this is interesting. We just need an action ID. Because everything else is just passed to... Yeah. So if we do this and we change the dev context to be action ID, I think that should be enough. Yeah, and if we do... We do this, and we do action ID. And then we do this. Recursively create for nested objects. And this will be action ID. Oh, that's not... Oh, how do I do this? Okay, let's see now. So action, nice, action, it had an event in there, that's fine, path increment, we change count to 1, but it doesn't have an action ID. Which is weird. Create action proxy. That is weird. But yeah, I have to drop off. So we are accessing, we're calling the thing. Oh, I think I know what's happening. No, I don't know what's happening. Because we're creating a new proxy here. So everything here. Yeah, I find that to be weird. Because we are creating the action. But why doesn't it have the action ID? So it's accessing, it's calling the action. So it basically runs this. And it creates a proxy for the target, which is like the actual class. It passes in the dev context, the action ID, and then it applies it calls the function on the proxy. So when that function runs and it says this.count, it's pointing to the proxy. That should have the action ID. Which is weird. It's almost like this is not being called. Yeah, this is weird. But yeah, we can play with this later. Bye for now.